Ah, yes, a glitch in the matrix. If you don't know about this, this has to do with odd or unusual phenomena that people try to explain by saying that it's a glitch in the algorithm or the computer program that runs our reality. Some examples have to do with like a video in which a figure was there one moment and they're not there, or maybe it's a video from like the 1940s and someone appears to be holding a cell phone or something like that. What I'm going to do is just pull out my Occam's razor and just say that there's a perfectly logical explanation for all of those things. But it does beg this deeper question about simulation and the matrix, so let's talk about that. So you probably heard about this idea that we may live in a computer simulation. My thought about that is, first of all, there's no way to definitively know whether that is true, and second of all, it doesn't matter. Because our experience of being alive and being embodied and all that is perfectly convincing and it's persistent. Even if it's an illusion, it's persistent illusion, and we still have the experience of ourselves living in this reality, getting sick and dying and getting old and having relationships and falling in love and falling out of love and getting a job and losing a job, all that stuff. It's perfectly real. So it doesn't matter whether it's a simulation or not. We experience it fully as being completely real. This brings us to the idea of the matrix, which to me is a more interesting conversation because there's room for interpretation on this one. So when I see the term being tossed around on TikTok, usually by New Agers, they're talking about something like a simulation, but basically all of the institutions, all of the media and so forth that are shaping our reality. That is the matrix. Now, full disclosure, I've written 3 books for adults, the second of which is called Overcoming Empire, a User's Guide to Personal and Global Revolution. And in that book, I talk a lot about something called the Empire Machine. And it really is a shorthand for what could also be called the military, industrial, media, medical, education complex. Basically, all of the institutions and the forces that shape our reality and make us behave and believe in certain ways. They shape our worldview and our behavior, essentially our cultural programming. So the big question then becomes, what is driving the empire machine? What is the source of it? Whence comes the empire machine? If you are a conspiracy-minded person, you will likely respond by saying that the machine or the matrix was created by some evil people at the top, and that they are trying to control and enslave humanity and all that kind of stuff. I disagree with that. I have a different view of things. My view is that we all have helped to co-create this machine over the centuries. Essentially, we have assembled this machine bit by bit, and it's gotten more and more big, more and more complex, more and more efficient, you might say, in sort of dominating our lives, but that we are all in various ways complicit in its maintenance. That said, there is one thing about the empire machine over which we have very little control. At some point in our history, we gave it this single directive, this one program, you might say, this one line of code that is essentially just more. The empire machine runs by always extracting more and more and more from the earth. And of course, this is where we run smack into a critique of capitalism, because that is the major directive of capitalism, is that it must continually grow, it must continue to extract natural resources and labor and all kinds of things in order to grow. It's inherently exploitative and it's inherently unsustainable, because obviously something that needs constant growth on a finite planet with finite resources is not going to work, and that's where we find ourselves in ecological crisis of today. So I'll probably do another video on the empire machine, because to me it's interesting and it's a big way of how I think about the world. But the bottom line is that there is no grand conspiracy. There are small conspiracies here and there, actual conspiracies. But in terms of a grand conspiracy controlling reality and enslaving humanity, that is, in my estimation, it is not happening. Whenever you want to find the source of why someone is behaving horribly and destroying the earth and doing things, you just have to look no further than capitalism. Capitalism is the conspiracy.